And Lord, I just pray for the message. I just pray, Lord, that as it might be my voice that they're hearing, that I have no part in it, that you speak through me to our family as a whole and to each individual person, Lord. Touch them however it may be. We trust you with these, Lord, with our praises, our prayers, and our petitions. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. I have a question for you guys. This verse is going to end up being something that we're going to visit a few times during this sermon. So if the Lord will fight for you, you need only be still. I want you to keep that in mind today. But I have a question. Have you ever been through something very hard? And I'm not talking small. I'm talking hard. Grief. It could be anything. It could be that a job that you go to that you just keep showing up to because you need the money. Maybe you were in a long marriage and you ask God, why did it fall apart? What happened? What could I have done? You know, these questions are questions that we all have all of the time. And we wonder, where were you, God? Did you show up? I didn't see you there. I invite you to come back in time with me. We are going to tell a story, and we're going to do it together. And as we do it, I encourage you to envision yourself as an Israelite. I want to know your thoughts and your opinions and what you would think as we go through this process of an old story we've heard today. But there's new light in this story. I'm going to shed some light on things that really they don't show in the movies. As I was going through this, I laughed, and I really think you guys will too. We're going to start in Exodus. Now, we're going to start with Moses answering a cry. The people are upset. Envision yourself. You've just been enslaved for years, and now you're free. But there's trouble already. I want you to think about Moses is answering your crying out, why, God, why? Moses answered you, do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. Now the meat and potatoes, we're going back to the verse I showed you before. His last answer, if you guys fall asleep and I lose you anywhere and you remember this, I'm okay with that. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. That was his answer. But he had to have that. He had to say that because the people were crying out, and they had good reason to cry out. Pharaoh changed his mind. He let them go boldly. It says in Exodus that the Israelites boldly left. Why would they not leave that way, right? Well, Pharaoh changed his mind, and he didn't just send a few people. He sent 600 of his best chariots, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. So insert yourself as an Israelite. You are walking boldly. You turn around, and that's what you see. 600. And I had to laugh. This is one of the times I had to laugh, guys, because the next verse says, along with all the other chariots. That's a lot. It's so many. He just says, along with all the other chariots, with officers over all of them. That's what you see. I would cry out too. I would cry out too. God, why? Didn't you just let us go? Now we turn around, and for some reason, we're being chased and followed by 600 chariots? And another number we don't know, it just says all the other chariots. I would cry out too. But when you're full of anxiety, terror, this is a normal response. And the people, they did respond. Didn't we say to you in Egypt, leave us alone. Let us serve the Egyptians. It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert. Do you know what this is? This is fear. This is just fear. The people are acting just like we do. Like I would, like humans. This is humanity. You're facing a trial in life. Maybe it's really hard. Maybe you're very scared. Is it so absurd for you to feel that fear and to cry out to God? I say no. That is normal. That is humanity. That's okay. I've cried out to God too. Why? Why is this happening in my life? Okay. God's not surprised. He's not surprised when we cry out. The Lord answered the people. He said, why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand to see that divide the water so that the Israelites can go through on dry ground. God had an answer. Now, that's a pretty amazing answer, okay? He led them to the water. They cried out because they saw water. How are we going to get through that? God knew. And his answer was simple. Why are you crying out to me? Tell them to move on. Don't be afraid. I've got a plan. He always does have a plan for us. He's not surprised when we cry out. He expects us to, and he's got a plan. Now, I want you to now switch roles. You thought yourself an Israelite, how normal it is for us to feel fear and to be afraid. I want you to now envision yourself as one of those soldiers. Now you are an Egyptian soldier. You are a well-trained, equipped soldier. You have seen battle. You have defeated your enemies numerous times. You are a powerful person. Now I invite you to envision seeing the sea divide. I don't think there's anything that can prepare you for that. You are chasing down who you've been told to chase down. You've been given orders. But now you see a sea divide? Is that possible? There's no training that equips you for that. What would you do if you were a soldier? Anybody have any ideas? Yes. Okay. There goes my sword, and I'm out of here. That's exactly what I would do too. I'm sorry. Their God can do that. I'm not going in after them. There's no way. But they do. But they all do. Is that something that you would do? No, I think not. There's a reason they went in. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them. And I will gain the glory through Pharaoh and all of his army, through the chariots and the horsemen. So, that's why they were chased. As a Roman soldier, you would run away. God had a different plan. He had a plan. He hardened the hearts. The Egyptians followed him because it was part of the plan. It was part of the plan. And I think, for 1 second, it's important for us to understand that I believe full-heartedly that the Israelites needed to be chased. They needed to be chased. Because that's where the glory came from. As you are in your trial, and you are running from whatever Egyptian you have in your life right now, maybe it's financial struggles. Maybe it is that job. Maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it's a personal Egyptian like anxiety or depression or something you are battling with, and you are being chased with that. When I'm chased, I always end up on my knees. That's the only place where I can get relief from an Egyptian. So insert your own personal battle. When you are chased and you are running at full speed, where do you run? I'm just going to assume it's right to God, as the plan always was. God gets the glory. But there's more. Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of the Israelites' army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them. There it is, folks. The whole time they were running. The Israelites were running. They knew they were being chased. They knew they were being chased by the Romans, the Egyptians. They didn't know that God hardened the Egyptians' hearts. The Israelites did not know that. They also didn't know, because when you're running at full speed and you cannot get away from your Egyptians fast enough, it's hard to look behind, isn't it, when you're running? Do you think they knew that the whole time they were safe? I don't think so. The whole time they were running for their lives, running in fear, running in grief, running uncertain of their future, as some of us can be when we're facing a hard time and we're looking for where God is. That there was a cloud the whole time. They couldn't have been hurt. They were being chased, and the whole time they were safe. They were safe. God had a cloud in between where the Israelites were done, were running, the very last Israelite and the Egyptians. The whole time they could not have been hurt by the Egyptians. See, I didn't know that. It's interesting enough, when we watch a movie that depicts, Moses in the Red Sea, it doesn't highlight on some of these things. And I wondered why as I was going through and reading these verses. It doesn't highlight how the Israelites were safe the whole time, that there was a cloud. It also doesn't really highlight that the Egyptians had their hearts hardened, that they chased because they were supposed to chase. These are things that aren't really mentioned, but I think changes the whole story. Because if I know that my God is with me and that I am safe, and I need only realize that there's a cloud between me and my Egyptians, makes it a lot easier to stand still, doesn't it? No wonder Moses told them to stand still. Do you think he knew about the cloud? I don't think he even knew. But he knew God would have a plan. So that brings us back. The Lord will fight for you. He will fight for us. No matter what you're being chased by, no matter what Egyptians are in your life, no matter what it is, God will do that for you. He will stand for you. He will fight for you personally, because he is your God. Now, I understand that we can't see a physical cloud. Okay? There was a cloud between the Egyptians and the Israelites. Where is our cloud? I think life would be a lot easier if I just followed a cloud. God, I know this is going on right now, and I really don't know why I'm dealing with this. I am scared, I am fearful, but you got this cloud, and I'm going to follow this cloud. We don't have a cloud. But I beg you to understand that we have something way better. We have somebody way better than a cloud. We have Jesus. He was always meant to be followed. He came here to save us and to be our shepherd. And we can follow him. Yeah. This right here, I think this picture encapsulates Jesus in so many ways. For everybody. Insert your personal baggage. Insert whatever trials you have going on in your life. He's got it. We just need to follow him. He's the cloud. He's the light. He's the one that we need to follow. He's the one that'll have us stand still while he goes ahead of us with all that we bring. And we just go and follow him. That's it, folks. We're going to end with a song about following God. And as we sing this song, feel free to sing, feel free not to sing. Feel free to belt it out or just quietly reflect on your own Egyptians, how God has moved in your life, the hope of God and what he will do in your life, and the cloud you know you already have. I'm excited to do this for myself, to just sit and reflect on some of the trials that I've gone through where I didn't know God's plan until after, but the whole time I was safe. I encourage you to do that as we sing.